r/ask Reddit. What's the most embarrassing thing a parent has done to you? Tell everybody at Thanksgiving dinner at her boyfriend's house about my tween bout with anorexia. I didn't want to be there in the first place, and she just kept going on and on about how I had carrots for dinner for a year until I had to shout at her to stop. At least you had the nerve to shout at her. Good on ya. What was the aftermath if you were shouting at her? To her credit, she was immediately embarrassed when she realized what she was doing, and apologized profusely. My mom and I used to try and embarrass each other. It was fun. One day we were at Safeway and I was in the toilet paper aisle and there was a very hot guy in there as well. She held up a mega pack of toilet paper and yelled, "Hey sweetheart, this will be perfect on your sensitive bum. How's your diarrhea right now?" I thought I would die. My family is like this. I'm in my late 20s, so the playing field is level. I was helping my mom shop for Thanksgiving dinner and she made some snarky remark about extra small condoms when we passed the family planning aisle. Later, we were passing the pharmacy, so I faked an anti chew while she walked ahead. Once she got a good distance away, I shouted, "Hey mom, the extra large tampons, right?" as I pointed to the tampon section. Then nonchalantly explained to the shocked couple standing next to me that it wasn't my fault that I was a massive baby. Your family is awesome, yet I'm glad I'm not part of it. I wish I was a part of your family, from a distance. In like 5th grade, there was this girl I was friends with and we would always joke around and make fun of each other. So one day my mom was picking me up from school, and me and the girl were walking out together and she said, "See you tomorrow, Dumbo." I had big ears as a kid. Thankfully I grew into them. My mom heard her say that and wasn't having any of it. She stormed over and started yelling at her, saying things like, "Don't ever talk to my kid like that again. How would you like it if kids made fun of the freckles on your face?" She started bawling. I was so ducking embarrassed my mom was yelling at this innocent little girl in front of dozens of kids. We left and I didn't talk to my mom at all on our way home. Thanks mom, I love you, but that was mean. Sounds like a take the kid aside and quiet conversation kind of thing. No need to scream. I have aggressive Crohn's that started showing up around 8th grade. My mom took me to all of my doctor appointments, which were all pretty embarrassing, because no teenage boy wants their mom involved in their butt-related illness. One particular visit, we were about halfway through the appointment when she whipped out a Cool Whip tub. Turns out, the following night I used the bathroom and it didn't all go down. So she thought it would be helpful to load that up in our poor people Tupperware and haul it on into the doctor, so he could look it over. He had the confused "what am I supposed to do with poop in a Cool Whip tub" face for a good 5-10 seconds, then politely dismissed it. Who'd have thought that there isn't any medical knowledge to be gained from fishing poop out of the toilet, refrigerating it overnight, and schlepping it up for an office visit. She googles my boss's phone number, called him in his office, asked him to put me on the phone. In his office I was in a meeting with a client. I didn't answer her call on my cell phone. In the middle of a work day, she wanted to bitch about my stepfather, and wanted to talk now. No emergency or anything. She just wanted to talk and gave zero shit about the consequence of her actions, as per ducking usual. And that's the day my boss and pretty much the entire company lost respect for me, when the mom of their co-workers called him on his boss's office to talk about personal shit. A few months later, I resigned. There was nowhere to go in that place anymore. That's the exact moment I would have never told her where I work again. My mother did this to me when I was 18. She turned up at my job on my day off and talked to my boss about all her personal problems, while being really clingy and trying to win his approval and start dating. I was on probation and the manager had no time for that shit, so I got a call to not come back. I had no idea that it had happened at the time, and it wasn't until I was a few weeks into looking for work that she decided to tell me all about it. She had always done embarrassing shit like that my whole life, but that's when I realized she would mess up my chances at my livelihood and a decent career. So I never let her find out where I worked ever again. Not the name or anything that could be used to track it down. I wouldn't even tell my relatives specifics if I thought they might let it slip. I also didn't live with her, so she couldn't read my mail or pay stubs either. My dad told a guy I had a crush on that I liked him. I was 16 or 17 at the time. Still mortified when I think about it. Yeah, but you two are happily married now, right? In the rom-com version of my life he declared he liked me too and we drove off into the sunset. In reality I had to stop shopping in the store he worked at and live with the shame. When I was in my early 20s and living at home, my father took a business call for me. People say we sound exactly alike on the phone. So when he was mistaken for me he ran with it and was an ass to the caller. I probably lost out on a low 4-figure amount of money because of it. I used to think it was because he didn't approve of who I was dating at the time. But after events in recent years I think he was just letting his a-hole side shine because of the opportunity to do so. After I submitted a job application to a manager when I was 16, my mother barged up and started going on and on about how I was really shy and not much of a people person. Yep, that's what a manager wants to hear about an applicant for customer service. When I was a senior in high school I had left the lights on in my truck all day and had to call my dad to come jumpstart my car. Now my father is 6'1" and has a very large belly. Mother ducker rolls up in cloth shorts and no shirt to jumpstart my car. Then there was the time a few years earlier that my mother had sent him up to school to give me a sandwich before a football game. The man's boxers were longer than his shorts. I had C-cup boobs when I was 11 years old. My mom loved to loudly talk about them to anyone who would listen. Yep, she's only 11. You wouldn't think from the way she's filled out up top. Then I'd start crying from the humiliation and she'd tell me to lighten up. Mom made me call my 8th grade social studies teacher at home to ask if I could use him as a job reference. He lived with his parents still and I asked for him by first name. He waited for me at my locker the next day to tell me never to phone his house again, parents' house, and never call him by his first name again. Didn't get the job either. Mom denies this ever happened and claims she would never demand I do something so strange. Not going to lie, your teacher sounds like a douche. My mom was pretty ducked up, so I have an endless list. The one that comes to mind right now is the time she sent me to go pick my younger brother from the pool. I, being a 13-year active kid, joined him and started playing with his friends instead. I guess she got tired of waiting for me and decided to come to the pool to check up on us. She came and found me in the pool, yes, wearing regular clothes, shame on me, playing Marco Polo with the guys. She yelled my name, took her slipper off, and threw it on my head. Then she went on calling me a slut for swimming with guys. Every guy there went quiet. I think the silence was one of the most unbearable things. Still prickles my skin when I think about it. I was so embarrassed. I remember that walk home, my head down in shame. Can't believe I thought I did something wrong. Cried myself to sleep. What's funny is she didn't even ask my brother to come back with us. Duck you, Mom. I'm glad our relationship is better now, but you made my childhood a nightmare. Duck you. Lots and lots of things. I was always sent to school with no school supplies, no Valentine's Day cards, no snacks when it was my day to bring snacks, no birthday cupcakes for the class, no note saying I saw the doctor before school started, and teachers took IT out on me like I could drive myself to the store at 5:11 and pick these things up myself. I'm sorry you had crap parents and terrible teachers. Thank you. To this day it's painful. Every year when I'm in the store and see those boxed kids' Valentine's Day cards I never got because I never had any to give, still affects me. Thanks again. Ask my best friend to leave my 16th day party because her boyfriend was black. My dad, influenced partly by Bad Boys 2, decided to mess with my boyfriend on my first date by acting like a hard ass. He filled a whiskey bottle with tea, and when he answered the door he chugged the whole thing while staring my boyfriend down, then tried to break the bottle over his own head. The date was cancelled due to the hospital trip, and I became known as the girl with the batshit insane father. Don't concuss yourself this time became the running joke once I was able to get a date again. My 350-pound mother streaked in front of my boyfriend and my friends for $100. I was only 16, and that image still haunts me. Excuse me, what the duck? My a-hole of a stepdad thought it'd be funny to give my alcoholic mother money to mortify me. Maybe not the most embarrassing but certainly top 10. My mom went through this phase where she would talk during movies, specifically about what's going on in the movie. She was also terrible at paying attention to what was going on, so oftentimes what she was explaining was incorrect. In addition, she would try to talk over the movie. Mom would occasionally have to yell to make sure she was heard over the action scenes. Imagine, if you will, watching the aftermath of the stampede scene from The Lion King and the person next to you yelling Simba is sad because her dad died. So I'm not the most fashionable guy, but I really like winter coats and tried to get the most fashionable ones I could find. So I usually had a few that I rotated through each season. Well, when I was maybe 20 or so, we were going through old clothes to donate what we didn't need, and a friend of the family was gonna come pick them up. I had several coats on my pile, and when the friend came to get them she commented on that. My mom says, "Oh, he just has a coat fetish." Everyone was super uncomfortable, and I tried explaining that I just liked them. It wasn't a fetish. My mom apparently thought a fetish just meant you really liked something. Didn't understand, or believe when it was explained, that it was sexual. She then told me she'd mentioned my coat fetish to multiple people before. Thanks, Mom. People probably think I creep around Burlington Coat Factory now. When I was 10 or so, I was struggling with being too big for kids' clothes and too skinny for most juniors' clothes. I was trying on this dress with a mesh area around the neck in the department store dressing room, and it was so big on me that my nipples literally showed through the mesh part that was supposed to be around my collarbones. Kids that age are moody, so I just lost it in frustration and started crying. My mom was like, "Oh, just let me see," but I didn't want her to see because that meant showing the whole fitting area, my nipples. Finally I showed her, and when she saw how upset I was, instead of comforting me, she decided to mimic me. Fake cry in my voice saying, "Oh my god, everyone can see my nipples," and flash everyone in the dressing room. My mother. When I was 23/24, I was doing an internship and was talking to a guy back home. When I got home and we finally met, I took him to my mom's school so she can say hi. I have no idea why I thought this was a fun idea. She told me, "Oh, no one is there. Last day of school so not many people. Come up." So when I took the guy and myself to my mom's school and went to her classroom, I opened the door and it was packed. She sees me and yells, "Everyone, everyone, this is my daughter, and this is my daughter's special friend." I melted into the floor. My mom and dad would always tease me about female friends of mine, and if they ever saw me with one they would mock me and say something like, "Oh look who has a girlfriend." This caused me to not develop any female friends in future and hurt my dating life for years and years and years. I used to hold a lot of resentment for that cause I wanted to avoid the bullying and teasing so badly. 10th birthday. School is holding a McDonald's fundraiser. Everyone is there. Sister works at the McDonald's and gets you a special cake for your birthday. Life is peaking. Mom is carrying out the cake with everyone from my class watching and drops the cake straight on the ground. Not only is 10-year-old me devastated, but my mom then proceeds to start scooping cake off the floor onto plates and insisting that people eat it. Mom isn't allowed to carry cakes anymore. My mom sent in pictures of my awkward middle school page for the baby pictures section of my senior yearbook. Everyone else had pictures from the ages of 0-5. Mine were middle school age when I just looked generally awkward and terrible. To this day I have no idea what she was thinking or how she misunderstood the point of those pages so badly. The worst part is that I moved to a new town junior year, so the people I graduated with never would have known about my awkward middle school phase if it weren't for that yearbook, which everyone will keep and look back on for the rest of their lives. I burnt mine. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.